What if the moon fell to Earth? When the moon approaches the Earth, many people might imagine a terrifying scene, a gigantic rock, with a diameter of over 3.400 kilometers, plunging straight toward the surface of our planet, causing a collision powerful enough to annihilate all life. However, in reality, this scenario cannot happen in that way. Instead of directly crashing into Earth, the moon would be torn apart into small fragments before it could touch the surface. The reason for this phenomenon lies in an important scientific concept in astronomy, known as the Roche limit. This is the minimum distance at which a satellite can approach its parent planet before being torn apart by the planet's gravitational forces. For Earth, the Roche limit is calculated to be about 18.470 kilometers. At a distant range, the moon's own gravitational force is strong enough to keep it intact. But as it continues to move closer, the gravitational pull from Earth becomes overwhelming, generating powerful tidal forces. These forces stretch the moon's surface in opposite directions. One side is pulled stronger toward Earth, while the opposite side is dragged away. When this differential force exceeds the moon's structural limits, it begins to fracture and disintegrate into massive rock chunks. This process would unfold rapidly, transforming the moon from a solid celestial body into a sea of debris orbiting Earth. These fragments would continue to orbit, forming a massive ring of dust and rocks around our planet, much like Saturn's rings. However, unlike Saturn's icy rings, this ring would consist of millions of moon rocks, reflecting sunlight and creating a magnificent spectacle in the night sky. But this beautiful moment would not last long. These fragments cannot stay in Earth's orbit forever. Sooner or later, the gravitational forces would pull them down toward the planet's surface, leading to an even worse catastrophe. After the moon is torn apart at the Roche limit, millions of fragments would float in orbit around Earth, forming a giant rocky ring. But unlike Saturn's rings, this structure wouldn't last forever. Under the influence of gravity, the debris would gradually fall out of orbit and plunge toward Earth, triggering one of the most horrifying disasters in the planet's history, a global meteor storm. As the fragments of the moon enter Earth's atmosphere, they would burn up due to friction with the air, creating giant fireballs that would blaze across the sky. If anyone were left alive to witness this, they would see hundreds of thousands of bright red streaks, as if the sky were on fire. But this is not a beautiful phenomenon like a meteor shower. Each meteorite is a deadly rock plummeting toward Earth at extreme speeds, ranging from 40.000 to 100.000 kilometers per hour. Smaller fragments, about the size of a fist or a football, would burn up before hitting the ground. However, larger chunks, some possibly hundreds of meters wide, would pierce through the atmosphere and crash into Earth. Upon impact, each of these meteorites would generate explosions hundreds to thousands of times more powerful than nuclear bombs, destroying everything within a radius of tens to hundreds of kilometers. If one of these large moon rocks fell on a densely populated city like New York, Tokyo, or Paris, it would create an explosion equivalent to hundreds of millions of tons of TNT. The ground would shake, buildings would be torn apart, and shockwaves would sweep everything away within hundreds of kilometers. In just a few seconds, an entire city would be wiped off the map, with no trace left. Other fragments falling into the ocean would cause super tsunamis, hundreds of meters high, sweeping away coastal regions and pushing water deep inland. Densely populated areas like Southeast Asia, the east coast of the United States, or Europe would suffer catastrophic consequences, as enormous waves would submerge entire countries within hours. This event would not be confined to specific regions. As millions of meteorites collide, they would create huge clouds of dust, covering the sky and blocking sunlight for months, even years. Global temperatures would drop significantly. Trees would stop photosynthesizing, and the food chain would collapse. The aftermath would resemble the asteroid impact 66 million years ago, which led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. But this time, it wouldn't be a single asteroid, it would be a gigantic meteor storm sweeping across the globe, turning Earth into a true hell. If any life remains after the initial stages of the catastrophe, they would face a permanent winter, with a pitch-black sky, air full of dust, and a barren world devoid of life as we knew it. If the Moon approached Earth before being torn apart, its gravitational pull would cause a catastrophic phenomenon, super tidal waves. The immense gravitational force of the Moon would cause the oceans to rise, creating colossal waves unlike anything ever recorded in human history. As the Moon continues to draw closer, this disaster would worsen, with waves thousands of meters high, submerging entire coastal regions and causing widespread devastation. Currently, the Moon is the primary cause of tides on Earth. As it orbits our planet, its gravitational pull causes the sea levels to rise and fall in a regular cycle. However, if the Moon were to suddenly crash toward Earth, its gravitational force would increase exponentially. The oceans would no longer rise and fall in their usual patterns. Instead, they would be continuously pulled upward, creating massive columns of water moving back and forth across the planet. In the initial phase, coastal waters would unusually retreat far from the shore, similar to what happens just before a tsunami. But this time, they wouldn't return with a small wave. Instead, they would be pulled back by a wall of water as high as 7.600 meters, nearly the height of Mount Everest. These tsunamis would be unlike anything humanity has ever witnessed. In history, the largest tsunami ever recorded reached a height of around 524 meters, the 1958 Lituya Bay tsunami in Alaska. But this time, the waves could be 15 times that size, with heights comparable to giant mountains. These walls of water would rush toward the continents at speeds of hundreds of kilometers per hour, flattening entire coastal cities within minutes. Populous areas such as New York, Tokyo, London, Sydney, and hundreds of other major cities would be completely submerged, with no trace of life remaining. Skyscrapers hundreds of meters tall would be unable to withstand the force of these massive waves. As the waves surged inland, they would carry millions of tons of debris, cars, trees, and even large portions of cities, transforming them into a chaotic and deadly flow. These waves would not occur just once. There could be as many as 10 massive tsunamis per day, continuously sweeping through coastal regions, pushing water deep inland. Areas that were once centers of human civilization would become saltwater plains, with nothing left but ruins and debris. Not only humans, but the entire global ecosystem would suffer severely. Saltwater would penetrate deep inland, completely destroying freshwater systems, making rivers and lakes salty. Fields, forests, and grasslands would be permanently flooded, unable to recover. Moreover, the super tsunamis would disrupt ocean currents, destroy the oceanic food chain, kill millions of marine species, and cause the collapse of marine ecosystems. All freshwater organisms would also be affected, leading to mass extinction. After several days or weeks, when the enormous amount of water began to recede, Earth would no longer resemble its former self. Regions that were once lush forests would become salty marshes, incapable of sustaining any form of life. Once fertile lands would turn into waterlogged deserts, where life would be unable to recover for thousands of years. Human civilization could be wiped out in just weeks or months. If any survivors remain after this catastrophe, they would face a completely different world, a desolate planet where life as we know it no longer exists. As the Moon moves closer to Earth, the biggest change wouldn't just occur in the seas or human habitats but also in Earth's rotation. The Moon's immense gravity would cause Earth to begin spinning faster, shortening the day and profoundly affecting geological and climate phenomena on our planet. The Moon not only creates tidal phenomena on the sea but also influences the Earth's rotational movement. As the Moon draws closer, its gravitational pull would drag Earth in its rotational direction, causing Earth to spin faster. This could reduce the length of a day to only 10 hours instead of the current 24 hours. This change would be extremely significant, not just a change in time but one that would deeply affect all living organisms on the planet. Shortening days could lead to unpredictable impacts on the biological timing of species. affecting the circadian rhythms of humans, animals, and plants. The shortening of Earth's days would not only make time pass faster but also create a major imbalance in the planet's geological system. As Earth spins faster, it would experience increased centrifugal forces, causing the tectonic plates to move more vigorously. This force would directly impact unstable geological regions, where tectonic plates meet, such as fault lines and mountain building zones. These areas would become more vulnerable, leading to stronger earthquakes and more violent volcanic eruptions. The frequency and intensity of these phenomena would increase, creating a world full of geological disasters. As Earth spins faster, it would not only increase the forces of push and pull within Earth's crust but also create pressure on tectonic plates. This force would destabilize fault lines and deep ocean trenches, increasing the likelihood of earthquakes in regions with weak geology or prior tectonic activity. Earthquakes could become more powerful, with tremors reaching destructive levels, destroying cities, infrastructure, and threatening the lives of millions. These earthquakes would not just occur once but could happen repeatedly over a short period, creating a series of catastrophic events that are both terrifying and relentless. At the same time, volcanoes would erupt more violently. The change in Earth's rotational forces would increase pressure on the magma beneath the surface, causing it to move and erupt through volcanoes. These eruptions could become sudden and extremely powerful, releasing larger volumes of lava than ever before. The change in Earth's rotation speed could also directly affect the climate. As the length of the day shortens, the amount of solar energy received each day would change, causing regions on Earth to experience extreme temperature cycles. Areas near the equator could become hotter, while regions near the poles could become colder, creating significant disruptions in climate conditions. Ecosystems would face severe challenges, with species unable to adapt becoming extinct, and others migrating to new areas with more favorable living conditions. For humans, adjusting biological rhythms could lead to serious physical and mental health problems, as there would no longer be enough time to rest and recover within a single day. The rapid spinning of Earth would not only cause a shift in time but also generate dangerous geological impacts. Earthquakes, volcanoes, and climate changes would make our planet increasingly difficult to live on. The worst part is that these transformations would happen quickly and uncontrollably, turning Earth into a harsh, unstable planet where humanity struggles to survive in a world plagued by disasters. As the Moon moves closer to Earth, the changes in the planet's rotation speed would not only affect the speed of Earth's spin but also have wide-reaching effects on global climate. The Moon's powerful gravitational pull would make Earth spin faster, shortening the day, which could alter the entire atmosphere system of Earth, along with other phenomena such as meteor showers. This would trigger extreme climate changes. One of the first and most noticeable effects of Earth's faster rotation would be the shortening of the day-night cycle. If a day currently lasts 24 hours, with an increased rotational speed, a day could last only around 10 hours. This could cause a major shift in global temperatures. With each shorter cycle, the heat exchange between Earth's surface and space would change. Daytime temperatures could rise rapidly due to the shorter amount of sunlight, while nighttime temperatures would drop more sharply, as space would quickly cool Earth's surface. These changes would not only create extreme temperature fluctuations but could also lead to global cooling, especially in areas with long winters. When the Moon is torn apart by Earth's gravitational forces, massive fragments would be pulled into the atmosphere and fall to Earth as meteors. Millions of these debris pieces would create a meteor shower with devastating power, not only destroying cities and infrastructure but also causing a thick layer of dust in the atmosphere. This dust would block sunlight from reaching Earth, similar to what happened during the dinosaur extinction event. With this thick dust layer, the sky would turn dark, and global temperatures would drop dramatically, leading to a phenomenon called the meteor winter. This would be an extended and harsh winter, where solar radiation cannot penetrate the dust in the atmosphere to warm the planet. The deep drop in temperatures would severely affect the planet's ecology, creating a harsh environment for most life forms. The meteor winter could last for months or even years. And during that time, both plant and animal life would face enormous challenges. Many species would not be able to adapt to the extreme cold, lack of sunlight, and disruption of reproductive cycles. Agricultural systems and food chains would collapse, leading to a severe decline in food sources, making survival difficult for many species. In these conditions, many species, especially those unable to migrate or adapt to new habitats quickly, would face the threat of extinction. Large animals, like the dinosaurs in the past, might not survive the sudden climate and ecological changes, leading to widespread mass extinction. With global temperatures dropping and winters lasting longer, humanity will also face severe consequences. Agriculture will be disrupted, leading many countries to face global famine. Cities could become frigid wastelands, with violent snowstorms and extreme climates. Supplies of food, water, and energy will become scarce and difficult to control, pushing society into a global crisis. Additionally, these climate changes will increase other natural disasters such as earthquakes and tsunamis. Due to the sudden shifts in Earth's gravitational forces and rotational speed, meteor showers and the dust in the atmosphere will also cause serious health issues for humanity. With rising air pollution and diseases spreading rapidly in such harsh conditions. As Earth spins faster and the meteor winter persists, the global climate will change drastically. These impacts will not only disrupt ecosystems but could also push our planet into an unprecedented ecological crisis. In a world full of turmoil, humans and other life forms will have to fight to survive under conditions we can no longer control. As the Moon gradually moves closer to Earth and these catastrophic changes unfold, a major question arises: will humanity survive? This scenario, with tsunamis, meteor showers, and extreme climates, will challenge the survival of all of humanity. However, the possibility of human survival in such a chaotic world depends on many factors. From building underground shelters to adapting to extremely harsh environments. Before these terrible disasters strike, some people may prepare for life underground or underwater, in super durable bunkers designed to withstand massive impacts and giant earthquakes. These bunkers must be capable of surviving tsunamis, as waves up to 7.600 meters high would quickly wipe out everything near the coastline, including large cities and residential areas. Although underground shelters could protect people from meteor debris, they cannot protect against extreme climate changes like the prolonged meteor winter. These shelters will need air and water filtration systems and must maintain a sustainable food supply to ensure survival during a long period when Earth's surface conditions become nearly uninhabitable. If humanity is not immediately wiped out, survival will depend on the ability to adapt to the new environment. The world will no longer be the same. Modern civilization could collapse entirely, as critical infrastructure and architecture will be destroyed by tsunamis, meteors, and climate changes. Traditional energy sources like oil, gas, and electricity might become unavailable, forcing humanity to revert to prehistoric times when tools and production methods were extremely basic. Meanwhile, surviving communities may have to return to hunting, foraging, and simple agriculture. This could take humanity back to a prehistoric era, where every resource must be found and protected. Survival will become a daily struggle as nature becomes hostile and resources grow scarcer. If some groups of people survive this event, another critical question will arise: can humanity restore its civilization? This will not be an easy task. When modern civilization is destroyed, recreating what has been lost will face countless challenges. It's not just about material things, but knowledge and skills as well. The scientific and technological advancements we enjoy today may be lost. Future generations will have to relearn from scratch, relying on ancient knowledge to build a new civilization. However, some survival systems may exist and gradually develop. If they can sustain life in such harsh conditions, restoring society will not be impossible. But it will certainly take centuries, if not millennia, for civilization to recover and thrive as it once did. As life becomes increasingly harsh, humanity will face its greatest challenge: cooperation to survive. In a ravaged world where resources are scarce and living conditions nearly uninhabitable, international relations will become the key to survival. Strong nations, with abundant resources and advanced technology, may have to cooperate to provide food, clean water, and energy for all of humanity. However, resource conflicts could arise, as each group and nation competes for the remaining resources. Human society will no longer be as it was before and may shift to a new form of social organization based on cooperation and harsh resource sharing. When the moon falls to Earth, life on this planet will be forever changed. While some may survive in shelters, the ability to restore civilization and recreate society will face countless challenges. Despair and devastation will dominate the planet, and humanity may have to revert to prehistoric times, facing an entirely new world that we cannot even imagine. Though the scenario of the moon falling to Earth presents a terrifying vision of extinction, fortunately, it remains only a hypothetical concept with no real basis. The moon is not moving closer to Earth as imagined in science fiction. On the contrary, it is slowly drifting away from Earth at a rate of about 4 centimeters per year. This means that, millions of years from now, the moon will continue to move farther from our planet rather than falling toward it. This distancing is due to a phenomenon called tidal forces. The moon's gravity pulls on the Earth's oceans, creating tides, and during this process, some of Earth's energy is transferred to the moon, causing it to move farther away. Although this change occurs very slowly, over billions of years, the moon could move tens of thousands of kilometers farther from Earth. However, the scenario of the moon falling to Earth will certainly never happen, allowing us to continue enjoying the beauty and influence of this celestial companion without worrying about the doom it might bring. While the prospect of the moon falling to Earth seems intriguing and mysterious, as we have seen, it is merely a hypothesis that cannot happen in reality. The moon remains Earth's loyal companion, continuing to play a crucial role in regulating natural phenomena and protecting our planet from dangerous space influences. After reviewing these developments, what do you think about the relationship between the moon and Earth? Can we continue to exist in a world where the moon drifts away? Or have we become so accustomed to its presence that we cannot imagine a world without it? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this content interesting and useful, don't forget to share it with your friends and family to explore the fascinating knowledge of the universe and the wonders around us.